40 years ago, I was 25, and I was on that plane. Everything was vibrating and rattling and shaking. Outside, the peaks were too close, and the clouds were passing by. Inside the plane, many people with their eyes closed, in attitude of praying, with scared expressions on their faces. I was terrified, just feeling the last moments, just waiting for death. After the first impact, we were just waiting the final one. But suddenly, it was silent. We start, after the silent, listening to shoutings and screamings and moaning and people calling the names of other people to see who was still alive, who was still alive. Some were alive and some were not. Blood everywhere. Injured people, dead bodies of our companions, chaos. When I opened my eyes, I realized that abruptly and totally my life changed. I had to adapt very fast to the circumstances. We had many challenges. On the third day, this was the situation. We were young people, the age 17 to 25, rugby players, 16 dead, 29 alive. We have no water. We have no food. We have no warm clothing. We have no idea where we were. We had no cell telephones. It was 1972. But on the plus side, we have the wreckage fuselage like a shelter. We had a small transistor radio to hear the news. But the most important of all, we had the ingenuity and the spirit inside of each of us. We have many challenges, and we had to invent many things to overcome those challenges and stay alive. First of all, we must make water. You need a lot of water when you are at those altitudes, near 4,000 meters. And you might think that we can eat the snow that surrounds us. And we tried, but it was not possible because our throat got swollen. So we must think another way. And we thought about the metal parts of the back of the seats. So we invent a kind of trays. We put the snow over those trays, and drop by drop, we drip the water into empty bottles of wine. And the second challenge was to get warm clothing. It's supposed to, we had near 30 centigrades below zero those first nights. And we were just with this kind of clothes, jackets and a shirt and nothing else. So we took all the covers of the cushions of the seats, and they work as blankets. We sew it with a copper wire, and we got our warm clothing. Another thing to solve was to help the injured, the ones who have open wounds, not to other people to disturb them. So we construct hammocks with the poles and the nets of the luggage compartment so people won't step over them. We have very hot pain in our eyes, and some, they became temporary blind. So we knew about the snow blindness, and we must construct sunglasses. We took the tinted plastic from the visors of the cockpit, and with some elastic from clothing and some plastic pieces of folders, we construct our sunglasses. But the most important of all, we need food. After the 4 or 5 days, the biscuits and the chocolates and the toothpaste we've been eating was gone. And we were getting very weak. And we need to be strong to support our mind, our intelligence. So, like a group, we decided that the only proteins we had was the proteins of the dead bodies of our friends. It was the only way to stay alive. We want to live. We had that only goal. It was the goal to reach our homes, to reach our loved ones. So it was the only way to live, and we did it. It was the most difficult decision I took in my life, and it was a very sad moment. But we want to live. And in an incredible, moving meeting we had just inside the fuselage, we offer each other, if you die, you can use my body to live, and if I died before you, if I live, I will use your body to live. So it was the most strong feeling I felt maybe in my life. And looking back, I see that we invent another thing. We invent a new way of living, a new society, la sociedad de la nieve, the snow society. With the resources we had in that circumstances, we left this society and we invent new habits, new forms of living. We had to forget about the habits of hygiene. We have to forget the ways of sleep and eat. Even many of us, we have to struggle with depression and losing hope and even losing sanity. we create maybe even a new culture. That's the new society that works very well. In that new society, everybody does what he could do better. We constitute a team. Really, it works perfectly well. And gradually, it became just like a unit. In those days, we were just waiting for the rescue. You might think about the disagreements and the fights, but we knew that we must spend our energy just in overcoming those challenges, and we couldn't waste energy in fighting disagreements. So we just spend our energy in thinking about solutions and creating things to survive. We form a government. It works like in these societies. At the end, the government was the triumvirate of all the cousins, Strauch. We were 3 cousins. We were the older ones, and it works like the government of that society. We, 40 years later, in our days, the 16 that survived that 70 days in the mountain, we shared a very strong bond. We meet regularly. We were young people like you. Nothing special about us. And it's not necessary for an experience, extreme experience like this one, to be aware of the power you have inside of each one of you already. Discover it. Honor it. Put it in practice. Thank you.